Hello, grade 11 learners. Welcome to your new normal general mathematics class. I am Teacher Ellie, and welcome to the MELC-compliant TV-based instruction. This is Telemath Aralan. This session is about representations of rational functions in three different ways, which are table of values, graphs, and equation. This will guide you on how to see the essence of rational functions, which we think has no value in real life, but in reality, it is in everything that we do.
Before we proceed, let us recall on how to represent a polynomial function problem through table, graph, and equation. Let us have this polynomial function problem. A siomai vendor can wrap 4 dumplings every minute. If he wraps a total of 32 dumplings, how much time did he spend wrapping? Use the following to justify your answer. Table of values, graph, and equation. For letter A, table of values, we will complete the table using the given information provided in the problem. Since a vendor can wrap 4 dumplings per minute, we will add 4 dumplings for every minute until we reach 32 dumplings. Using this table, we can say that the vendor was able to wrap 32 dumplings in 8 minutes. For letter B, graph, let us use the data we have in A, which is the table of values, and plot these points in a Cartesian plane. Using a graphing tool like Microsoft Excel or GeoGebra, here is the graph of our table of values. For letter C, equation, we can solve the problem by formulating a formula where we divide the total number of dumplings made by the number of dumplings per minute. In symbol, it will be T is equal to D over N, where T will be the time in minutes, D will be the total number of dumplings made, and N is the number of dumplings made per minute.
It is important that in graphing, you need to use proper scaling and labeling. It is important that the graphical representations are neatly made, especially if not using a graphing paper. You can use different graphing tools such as Microsoft Excel, Graphing Calculator, GeoGebra, Desmos, and other applications.
Life is a beach. Let us consider this problem. Pueblo por La Playa is a 12.5-hectare Mexican-inspired exclusive leisure club nestled off the clear waters of Pagbilao, Quezon. The Pueblo offers the total leisure and recreation experience for the entire family. Since it is an exclusive resort, it has a membership fee. Pueblo por La Playa charges a 300,000 pesos annual fee, then 700 pesos for each day you stay there. Find the average cost per day to stay in the resort in 5, 10, 15, and up to 30 days. Graph the function to show whether it forms a straight line or a curve. This problem being presented is an example of rational function. To solve this problem, let us answer each question one by one. Let us solve the problem. Let us start with equation. We will define a formula for the average cost for every 5 days to stay in the resort f of x. To define the formula, use the formula in getting the average cost. Let the function be f of x. We can use the formula of getting an average. Average problem, use the formula A is equal to x over n, where A is the average, x is the cost, and n is the number of days. And let x be the number in days. Note that 300,000 pesos is a fixed price you need to pay plus 700 pesos per day divided by the number of days x. So we will have f of x is equal to 300,000 plus 700x all over x. Observe that it is similar to the structure of our original formula from the average. Note that you will be using a formula depending on the classification of problems given to you. Next is for table of values. We will create a table of values showing the average cost for every 5-day stay in the resort. Using our derived equation, f of x is equal to 300,000 plus 700x all over x, let's try to substitute 5 to that equation. So we will get 60,700. Let us try also to substitute 10 to our x, and we will get 30,700. Continuing the process, we will have for 15 is 20,700, for 20 is 15,700, for 25 is 12,700, and for 30 days is 10,700. From the table, we can observe that the average cost of stay decreases as the time increases. We can use a graph to determine if the points of this function follow a curve or a line. For the graph, you will graph the following points in the Cartesian plane. Using a graphing tool like Microsoft Excel or GeoGebra, this is the graph of the problem. By connecting the lines, we can clearly see that it follows a curve. And a curve is the graph of a rational function. Let us have the second example. F of x is equal to x over x plus 2. Since we already have an equation, we can skip this part. You will proceed with the table of values. For the table of values, we will construct table of values from -2 to 2. We can substitute each values on the equation to complete the given table. So you will get for -2 is undefined. -1 is -1. For 0, the answer is 0. For 1, the answer is 0.33. And for 2 is 0.5. We can observe that the value of f of x is undefined when x is equal to -2. It is because when you substitute -2 in the function, it will have an answer of 0, whereas in the definition of rational function, we cannot have a denominator equal to 0. So the answer is undefined. For the graph and using the table of values, plot the points in the Cartesian plane and determine whether the points form a smooth curve or a straight line. Using a graphing tool like Microsoft Excel or GeoGebra, here is the obtained graph. It can be observed that the function formed a curve, and the graph of a rational function is a curve. DIY. Do it yourself. Try to answer the following exercises. In order to join a voice lesson class, you pay 1,500 pesos fee, then 500 pesos for each class you go to. What is the average cost per class? Graph the function to show whether it forms a straight line or a curve. I will give you enough time to represent this rational function problem as to its equation, table of values, and graph. And your time starts now. Are you done? Let us see if your answer is correct. Let us start with equation. To define the formula, we will use the formula in getting the average cost. Let the function be f of x. We can use the formula of getting an average. Average problems use the formula a is equal to x over n, where a is the average, x is the cost, and n is the number of classes. And let x be the number of classes being attended. Note that 1,500 pesos is a fixed price you need to pay, plus 500 pesos per classes you attended to, divided by the number of classes. Therefore, the equation will be f of x is equal to 1,500 plus 500x all over x. Next is for the table of values. You will make a table of values with x values at 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Using our defined formula, f of x is equal to 1,500 plus 500x all over x. Substituting 1 to our formula, we obtain 2,000. Substituting 2 to the formula, we will obtain 1,250. Continuing the process, we obtain 3 as 1,000, 4 as 875, and 5 as 800. And last, for the graph, using a graphing tool like Microsoft Excel or GeoGebra, here is the graph of our rational function problem.
This session dealt with the application of rational functions that involves the number of persons who can do a task in a certain amount of time. We can handle these applications involving work in a manner similar to the method we use to solve speed, distance, and time problems. I hope what you have learned today made your day productive. I also pray that this COVID-19 will not hinder your continuous learning. Again, I am Teacher Ellie, and this is Telemath Aralan.